5 Most Haunted Places on Earth. Real paranormal experiences. This world is filled with places believed to be the most haunted. From ancient castles in Europe and abandoned asylums to mysterious, ghostly forests. Behind the walls and shadows of these locations lie terrifying stories of restless spirits, supernatural occurrences, and chilling experiences from those who have visited or lived there. Tonight, I will take you deep into the darkness, exploring some of the most haunted places in the world and listening to real stories from people who have encountered terrifying events. Turn off your lights, put on your headphones, and prepare yourself for a journey into the unseen world. 1. Chillingham Castle, England. Chillingham Castle in Northumberland, England, is known as one of the most haunted castles in the world. Built in the 13th century, the castle once served as a torture chamber for war prisoners. It is said that the spirits of those who perished here still linger to this day. A tourist named Jonathan once visited the castle with his wife. They joined a nighttime tour that led them into the dungeons where prisoners were tortured centuries ago. As the guide spoke, Jonathan felt something strange. The air suddenly turned icy cold, and he could hear faint whispers from the corner of the room. When he turned toward the sound, he saw the shadowy figure of a small child standing in the corner, softly crying. Jonathan froze in place, while his wife also sensed the sudden shift in the atmosphere. It had become overwhelmingly eerie. As they stepped closer to the figure, the soft sobbing transformed into a piercing scream that sent chills down their spines. The tour guide quickly turned on a flashlight, and in an instant, the figure vanished. That night, Jonathan couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he heard the child's cry echoing in his mind. 2. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, USA. Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Kentucky, USA, is infamous for the horrifying stories surrounding it. Built in the early 20th century, the hospital witnessed the suffering of hundreds of patients who died from tuberculosis. A paranormal investigator named David and his team conducted an investigation in this building in 2017. As they walked through the long hallway on the 5th floor, known as the most haunted part of the building, they heard footsteps echoing in the distance. David raised his night vision camera, and at the end of the corridor, he saw a dark shadow standing still. When one of his team members tried to approach it, the shadow suddenly rushed toward them at an incredible speed. Everyone screamed and bolted for the stairs. However, the most terrifying event occurred after they had left the building. When they reviewed their video footage, they discovered a chilling sight. Throughout the entire investigation, a woman in a white dress had been standing right behind David, even though none of them had seen her at the time. 3. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. In Japan, Aokigahara Forest is notorious as a place where many people have taken their own lives. The forest is eerily quiet, so much so that even the wind seems absent within its depths. A man named Kenji, a wildlife photographer, once entered the forest to capture images of the early morning mist. As he ventured deeper, he felt as if someone was watching him. He turned around, but no one was there. As he set up his camera, he suddenly heard a whisper, as if someone was speaking right into his ear. The voice softly said, "Don't go." Kenji froze, his skin covered in goosebumps. Trying to ignore the voice, he continued preparing his camera, but at that moment, his digital camera shut down, despite having a full battery. Feeling an overwhelming sense of unease, Kenji decided to leave. But just before he exited the forest, he saw a figure in a white dress standing among the trees, staring at him with a blank expression. After that encounter, Kenji never entered Aokigahara alone again. 4. Poveglia Island, Italy, screams from the other side. Poveglia Island in Italy was once used as a quarantine site for plague victims in the 18th century. Thousands of people perished here, and since then, the island has been known as one of the most haunted places in the world. A paranormal journalist named Marco once conducted an expedition to this island with his team. As night fell, they set up their audio recording equipment inside the ruins of an old building. When they played back the recordings, they were shocked to hear screams and wails echoing in the background, sounds they had never heard while they were there. Just as they were about to leave, one of the team members suddenly felt a cold hand gripping his arm. He screamed and collapsed on the spot. When he regained consciousness, he claimed to have seen a group of shadowy figures surrounding him before everything went black. 5. The Queen Mary, USA, the ship that never stops sailing. Amidst the vast and dark ocean, there is one ship that has never truly stopped sailing, not across the waters, but between the world of the living and the dead. That ship is the Queen Mary, a luxurious ocean liner that now serves as a floating hotel in Long Beach, California. But beneath its grandeur, This ship holds a dark history filled with tragedies, death, and supernatural events, making it one of the most haunted ships in the world. A tragic past. Built in 1936, the Queen Mary was initially a lavish cruise liner used by royalty, celebrities, and the wealthy. However, when World War II broke out, the ship was converted into a wartime vessel and earned the nickname, the Grey Ghost, due to its incredible speed. During the war, the ship was involved in several horrifying incidents. One of the most tragic occurred in 1942 when the Queen Mary accidentally collided with and sank the HMS Curacoa, a smaller warship, killing over 300 soldiers. Due to wartime regulations, the Queen Mary was not allowed to stop and rescue them, leaving hundreds of men to drown in the sea. After the war, the ship resumed its role as a cruise liner until it was retired in 1967 and transformed into a hotel. But the spirits of those who perished aboard never truly left. Ghostly encounters on the Queen Mary. Many guests and staff members have reported eerie experiences on the ship. From disembodied footsteps and doors opening and closing on their own to the sound of cries and screams from empty rooms. Several areas of the ship are particularly haunted. 1. The engine room, the trapped worker. One of the most famous stories is that of John Petter, a crew member who died tragically in engine room 13. He was crushed to death when a massive steel door suddenly slammed shut. To this day, many claim to see his apparition wandering around the engine room. Some even report feeling a cold hand on their shoulder, as if someone is standing right behind them. 2. The abandoned swimming pool, the Lady in White. The ship has 2 swimming pools that are no longer in use. Yet, there have been frequent sightings of a woman in a white dress walking around the pool area. Some guests have even heard splashing sounds, even though no one was there. 3. Room B340, the most haunted room. Room B340 is said to be the most haunted room aboard the Queen Mary. So many strange occurrences have happened there that the room was closed for years before being reopened with paranormal equipment for brave guests. Visitors have reported whispers in the dark, shadowy figures, and even having their blankets yanked off while they slept. Some guests have even woken up with mysterious scratches on their bodies. The world is full of places that hold unexplained mysteries. From ancient castles to abandoned hospitals, ghost ship, each location has its own chilling story that sends shivers down the spine. Do you believe in ghosts? Or perhaps you've had a paranormal experience yourself? Share your story in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss more terrifying tales. See you in the next video, if you dare to watch at night.